Hello, welcome to another edition of Serving the Valley. I'm your host, Roy Justice. Well, this is that Cedar Falls TV production that kind of gets you up close and personal to what really makes this place a nice place to call home. And here's further proof of that. Cedar Falls Kiwanis Rough Risers Club is the topic for our conversation for the next several minutes. Among the many great service organizations that do service here in the Cedar Valley. This group, however, claims to be the busiest. Aha, we'll see about that. The Rough Risers, number one, have pretty good proof that you've got to get up pretty early in the morning if you want to outdo what they do. They have a early morning time to complete the meet, if you will. 6:30 on a Wednesday morning. Now I know where my neighbor, Dean Dreyer, heads off early on a Wednesday morning. He's joining me right now. Good morning. Good afternoon, morning. Good night, whatever time people are looking at this. Dean Dreyer is here. Sue Loy has joined him. You know which one Sue is, obviously. And Lynn Barnes down there on the end. All three of you, welcome. Thank you for sharing some of your time right now with us, Serving the Valley. The first question, as I told you right before we went on, this is going to probably be the most difficult question of the entire session we have together. You won't get graded on it. To you personally, what is it that the Kiwanis do for you? Dean, let's start with you.
Well, I'm a former educator, former principal at Cedar Falls High School, and I think the thing that makes it, memorable for me and makes it run is the fact that I'm doing things for kids, and the amount of time that I've spent, 38 years working with kids. It's hard to get that out of the blood is what it amounts to. And the other thing is that giving back, Cedar Falls has been good to me. And it's one of those things to maybe give back to Cedar Falls a little bit and to make it a better place for kids, because that's what we're doing, is serving the community and serving the youth in the Cedar Valley.
And Sue, in your case?
I will add on to what Dean just said, because I agree with absolutely everything he stated. It's a family. I have multiple brothers and sisters that if I need help with a screw that I can't get tightened up, all I have to do is put out a plea for help, and I've got one of my brothers is there to do that for me, and that's very important. So the camaraderie.
Okay, and Lynn?
The things I like about Kiwanis is that it's got a couple of different aspects. And one aspect is paths, and they do have different ways of how they can enhance your character, your friendships within the community, and also getting involved with children, also the programs, and that's where I fall into place. I'm the social guy that sets up the different meetings that we have. We go out to plays, different concerts, and just enjoy ourselves, and then afterwards we break up and go to have a quick meal somewhere, and so it just enhances our togetherness, and like both Dean and what Sue said, you have friendships that last a lifetime.
Okay. Before Dean kicks me, he said, don't forget kettle corn. It's in the list, Dean. It's in the list. We will get to kettle corn. We'll get there. We'll get there. Doing pretty good stuff was the general theme I heard from the trio. Among the service organizations, but specifically for the Kiwanians, the key roles they play in life in the Cedar Valley, among building shelters and popping kettle corn. But wait a minute, let's talk about the shelters. And by the way, you're going to see some graphics during our program, a lot of the things that the Kiwanians are working on. And when you see that list, we'll start referring to some of those. But what do you think are some of the key roles? I heard servicing a lot of activity for kids. Beyond that, what? Any one of you? Not all at once.
Well, I think that we're doing a lot of things within the community, and I could go through a number of things that we're doing that maybe don't look like they are for kids, but I can give you an example. We had one member that came to our meeting on Wednesday and said, I have a lady who would like to have a ramp built for her house. And I would say within a week and a half, we had it organized, and we had a half a dozen guys that went over there and built the lady a ramp. And you know, it's a feel-good activity. It's kind of like with kids, the things that you're doing. Yeah, the number of things that are listed there are pretty accurate, and there's probably another 10 or 15 that
I was
could
going to
go
say,
on there.
I'm sure that gets updated occasionally.
Now, Roy, we also built an osprey house for the Hartman Reserve that had
Right.
the ospreys that were visiting down there and we built that big tower there that they actually had some ospreys land up there and start a family. And they came back.
The number of people who may be watching right now saying, okay, you said they get up early in the morning and they meet on Wednesday. I didn't say where you meet. And then I went out to look at where you meet, and somebody changed the sign on you. It used to, but listen, when I was here 50 years ago, I think it was the Holiday Inn. And now Clarion recently, and now it's changed its sign again. But that's where you meet, where they changed that Clarion sign again.
I guess it's the Lifestyle Inn. Yeah,
That's what it is.
we just
good timing.
automatically go there.
Right, up there on the corner. And guests are welcome at any time. Is that how it kind of operates?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
And we get also Kiwanis from other cities come in and visit us too from time to time that are staying at the Lifestyle Inn.
Now again, Kiwanis is an international organization. Sometimes the big brothers and sisters, if you will, put down a request that activity take place in your club that also reflects what they're doing on an international basis. What is it that Kiwanis are, quote unquote, known for internationally as far as their activity is concerned?
Kiwanis,
Oh, go ahead, Sue.
okay. Kiwanis International takes on a cause, raises funding, and asks the clubs to all participate. The most recent one that I think they are close to finishing up is the Eliminate Project, which is addressing neonatal tetanus in developing countries. Vaccinating, it's in conjunction with UNICEF, and they vaccinate the mothers prior to giving birth, because if the mother has the tetanus illness in her body, the baby can absorb that as they are born.
Okay.
And so they go in and vaccinate the mothers and to keep the infants healthy. They're close to eradicating that. I think they're down to just a handful of countries that they still need to do work in.
Okay. Lynn, were you going to excuse me, Dean. Lynn, were you going to contribute to that?
She told the same thing that I was going to say. So.
Okay, Dean, you're next.
Well, I was going to say that part of it also is not just the shots, but a lot of it is the education of the people in those countries in regard to the problems that particular disease and how the disease is developed in babies and in the mothers. So it's not just getting the shots, but it's also giving the education that is needed to eradicate.
You're also known as the club that goes out and builds shelters. Give me an example of where we may go see one of those shelters.
Over at the soccer sports complex, all those shelters out there, we built those. And then also the garage out there. And we've done projects for the Blackhawk City Park. And we built those up in North Cedar. We built that shelter up there. And also we have members of our Kiwanis Club, when they visit other countries through their churches, have built like water wells or irrigation systems, and assist other countries up there in those communities. And so we are an international group.
Excellent. We're going to pause here for a minute because I want to show you a little bit more about what the Kiwanis is doing and has done and will be doing. And when we come back, If you have that aroma of kettle corn, you'll know where we're going next. We'll be back right after this.
It's easy to get caught up in the details. The day-to-day grind, numb to the noise, going round and round and round. Deep down, there's something missing, a void inside, a hole to fill, a life lacking. Then, in a minute of clarity, it hits you. The aha moment. You're needed. Kids need you. Kids of all kinds. All these funny, rambunctious, sweet, attention-seeking, vulnerable bundles of energy. They need your love and support. Some have huge life hurdles. Poverty, disease, hunger. And they're reaching out for you. Around the corner, around the world. You are a Kiwanian at heart, a role model, a guide, a builder of dreams. Together, we are Kiwanis, passionate and strong, ready to move mountains or grains of sand. Imagine every child reaching their potential. The power to help is in you. It's not about us. It's about them. Do you hear the call? Kids need Kiwanis. Kiwanis needs you.
Well, there you are, a little bit more about what Kiwanis is all about. Before I get any deeper into this program, Lee Zeitz has helped put this whole thing together. I worked with him several weeks ago in scheduling this and scheduling the guests. And even though he couldn't be here, I want to pay a thank you to Lee for helping us get Kiwanis in Serving the Valley's list of programs. Okay, I said, I don't smell it, I can't see it, but I know it's around someplace. Kettle corn. I'm going to ask Sue specifically. I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do this because Kiwanis finally got smart back in 1987 and found out that women like to make a difference too. And they are now members of Kiwanis, as many other service organizations followed through with that, and instead of the guys getting together. Now it's everybody's getting together. Sue, what's this kettle corn stuff all about? You know who started that? Okay, you don't have to but you've got it.
The group purchased an ongoing kettle corn business 25 years ago, 20 years ago?
20,
At least 20 years ago, as a fundraiser to support our projects, to give us the funds to make a difference.
Okay.
And it takes a whole group effort to do this. It's one that definitely brings the group together. There's nothing like bonding over a big tub of kettle corn.
Hello.
And if it's a cold day, there's nothing like snuggling up to the popper to get warm. So.
Sure. Now, where is the, they thought I'd never ask, where is the kettle corn available and when is it available?
Typically we do different events during the year. Coming up, we have a day that will be popping out at Walmart. That's just a fundraiser for our group. We will be popping at College Hill Arts Festival. We always pop at Sturgis Falls. 4th Street Cruise in May. We do that event. Those are the only planned events that we have anymore. But if somebody comes to us and says, our community is having a community days, could you come and pop for us? We'll consider going.
Okay.
Because it gets our name out, it gets funding in for us to give back to the area, and we try to give back to the entire area, not just the Cedar Falls area.
Okay. All right.
This might be a good point to put in that Dave Loy had an idea in regard to, with our kettle corn, that perhaps we could convince, speaking to businesses, convince them that we could advertise for their business. And I know for a couple of years he basically went out and got things started on his own. But what we do is we sell sponsorships for our kettle corn. And that has a lot to do with approaching those sponsors for their advertising dollar. And basically we tell them that we don't want you to just to give us money. We can do that. We raise our, we sell our kettle corn, but we will, if you will sponsor us, and we have different levels, $500, $1,000, $1,500 sponsorships. And we've had a couple people that are, fact is, that are giving us the $1,500 sponsorship, and we offer them to come in and set up for a day, and we will give away kettle corn in their name. If they want to print up the sacks, well, that's fine. We'll use our sacks, and we put a label on every single one of our products, so people can see the people that are supporting us in the community. So anyway, that was a heck of an idea, and we have found pretty much that people know what we're doing in the community, the number of things we're involved with kids, and very honestly, I'm involved in it now a lot, and I would say that when we go in and talk to people, their response is, we know what you're doing in the community, and I'd love to be a sponsor. So it was a heck of an idea that Dave had.
Sure. I want to remind our viewers, while we're producing this program at this particular time, what you are seeing right now may be coming in months from our production date. So check a website. You must have a website. Lisa, don't forget to mention the website. Where is the website and the schedule? Well, there's the schedule right now. And check the website for updates on all of this activity. As far as the Kiwanis and Cedar Falls Rough Risers Kiwanis Club is concerned, there's some activity right now that's currently online as we're producing this. But check for updates on that as well. Okay, the list could change, but you have some of those people that were, you mentioned that were backing you, if so to speak, financially. You want to list off some of those in case there's an update for something regarding, because give credit where credit is due.
I'll just say, I mean, we have this up, and I don't know if we have 2 shots of that, but anyway, our signs that we post at every one of our cookings have all of our sponsors on them, and there's a half of another one. So great people wanting to support the community and support us. So.
Is there ever a request, this is that maybe, why would you ask that? Is there ever a request that comes in for Kiwanis help that you're not able to support, or it's on the list of if we could do it, we will? Or have you been able to handle just about anything that comes along?
Well, we've been asked to pop kettle corn at the Iowa State Fair, but that was just logistically we couldn't do it.
Oh, sure.
You
right.
know, it's too much manpower, and
I think the Newton car races was another one.
Was another one.
Yeah.
It's
You
just,
know,
yeah,
to
that
go
was
to Newton and set up, and
That would be a big assignment.
Yeah.
A big assignment.
yeah, that's above and beyond.
Yeah.
Sure. Tell me a little bit about, since I have not been to one, but I certainly want to take the opportunity to visit. Set up a meeting for me. You start out at 6:30, and what happens at 6:30 on a Wednesday morning?
Well, we have breakfast. You know, it's just a big breakfast that we have.
Buffet.
A big buffet, and sometimes it's they have eggs. They make eggs for you, or an omelet, and that's always a great meal that we always have.
So food's important.
Very important.
A program then of some sort, or a speaker, or
We have some fantastic programs. Our first half hour is basically camaraderie, sit around the table, have coffee, and have breakfast. But the second half is that usually starting on the hour at 7 o'clock, we have program people who line up programs, and they're neat programs because they involve what's happening in Cedar Falls and in the Cedar Valley, not just Cedar Falls. And very informational. So it's a very productive part of the program.
In the beginning of the program, I did mean to brush over that we found out where Dean was hanging out in his career, and you retired from CFI just a few years ago.
About 13 years ago.
Oh,
time
my
flies when you're having a good time.
Right. I know. He's a neighbor. I know how much of a good time he has. Sue, what were you doing outside the home?
My husband and I owned an accounting firm in Cedar Falls, and I have since retired and am enjoying that immensely. But I was an accountant for lots of years.
And Lynn, in your life?
Oh, I've been in the car business for a while, and also I was in customer service, Bosch Tools, a little bit of that.
Excellent. Let's talk a little bit then about, Roy, why didn't you ask us about? There's always something that the host leaves out. I thought we were going to talk about. Is there something we should have talked about that we haven't talked about? Because we still have some time.
Yeah, on our website, there's always an update, and Lee does a great job. Lee Zeitz does a great job on that. And anyway, we always have a recap of the speaker that we had to visit our club, and I write a little recap on every speaker that we have.
So there's an example right there of what they're doing that those that aren't members of the Kiwanis organization may be able to keep track of. And again, the invitation's always out for receiving guests.
It is. We welcome walk-ins. If you know of one of our members and are interested in joining, go up and say, hey, why haven't you invited me to come? Because we're always open to new members.
Terrific. There you are, a little bit about what's going on in the Cedar Valley. Well, that's what this program is kind of all about. And we thank the members of Kiwanis for joining us on this program today. To Lynn and Dean and Sue, and thank you for sharing some of this time too here on Serving the Valley. Until the next opportunity for us to unfold a story for you, Serving the Valley. I'm Roy Justice.